Ronnie Giles is a veteran of the Vietnam War, and a very special kind of veteran. He was a tunnel rat in the Vietnam War, and what that means is that in Vietnam at the time that the war was going on, there was this enormous network of tunnels underground where Viet Cong and just some regular civilian people would live, and also where they would kind of plan their counterattacks and things like that. And so our soldiers were sent down there to kind of flush the enemy out and find out what was going on down there. And when you stop and think about it, it was an extraordinarily treacherous thing to do. And so Ronnie is a very special kind of soldier, because it just, to do what he had to do takes a type of courage and just inner strength, if you want to put it that way, that I think most people would find kind of difficult to comprehend, which really makes his story that much more rich and that much more compelling. Because, you know, as we've talked about many times, this is not a war play. This is not an anti-war play. This is not an anti-Vietnam play. It's a story of a man and his descent into something really, really difficult, and his kind of rising up out of that with his dignity intact, and with his real genuine kind of patriotism intact. Well, one is that he might possibly come and see the show. You know, the thing is that I think part of the challenge is that you know, you're just wanting to be truthful, wanting to be genuine in your portrayal of this man, and particularly genuine in your portrayal of the experiences that he's had during the war and since he's come back home again. So that I think playing a character who is still living does present those particular kinds of challenges. I try to get a lot of sleep, and a role like this, I think, really takes a lot of study. I had the advantage, we all had the advantage of having our scripts for this particular play a couple of months in advance before we sat down to do our first rehearsals, and so I felt like I had the advantage to study the script and to find the moments where, you know, where the nuggets of gold, you know, for the genuineness and the truth and the honesty in all this, so that what is physically demanding and what is emotionally demanding can honestly and truthfully come across. So preparation, I think, is the short way of putting it, a more in-depth kind of preparation. I would tell them, don't give up. I would say that there's hope. There are people who understand. There are more and more people who are coming to understand. Certainly it's not anything to be ashamed of, and that, you know, there's always reason, you know, to have hope. And I hope that what we do is we point that up, and we show that. You know, it might sound a little bit odd to say this, but it's, you know, if you're wondering about this, if this is something you think about, you know, come and see the show and see the story of hope and recovery and breakthrough and of a life continuing after, you know, such a traumatic interruption.